They say that a journey is not about the destination, but the journey itself. That's where you'll meet valuable people, learn valuable lessons, and find the true happiness that persists once the journey is over. In a fantasy world, anyone can set out to do anything at any point, but in reality, such unprepared actions won't get you very far. Some of my favorite stories, Hunter x Hunter, Gurren Lagann, Made in Abyss, and even early Dragon Ball capture the grand scale of adventure beautifully. But what they don't really discuss in depth is the preparation for those adventures. In other words, the journey to get to the journey. Because let's face it, in modern society, you'd be hard-pressed to create a substantial adventure without some sort of a plan. If you want to achieve something, you have to put in the work. This brings me to the Winter 2018 anime that tackled this concept exceptionally well, A Place Further Than the Universe. One of the many strengths of A Place Further Than the Universe is its cast. But beyond that, I was even more impressed by just how quickly I was able to get attached to these characters through just their introductions alone. Take the opening scene in episode 1, for example. This sequence effectively establishes the many facets of Kimari's character in under 2 minutes. She's a bit of an airhead, she is unorganized and directionless, which is shown through her messy room and her mother's statement about waking up at noon. Also, of course, she is prone to emotional outbursts. This all plays into the brilliant execution of Kimari's failed departure. The scene is backed by an uplifting piece of music that screams, "This is the start of a grand adventure." Her monologue is also upbeat and confident, which contrasts her decreasing confidence as the scene progresses. Each time she encounters a potential obstacle, her uncertainty grows until, as the train pulls away and the music swells, she stands alone in the station. The cut from her rain-soaked shoes to her umbrella at the school is too perfect. This is a tremendous failure for her, but it's brushed off so subtly and quietly that you could almost think that the effort didn't even matter. There's nothing to worry about here, right? She's just a silly kid with a ridiculous dream. In a sense, Kimari captures that mentality in her own mind. As she says in the next scene, she's had big ambitions before, but she always chickened out at the last minute. It's natural that her defeat is downplayed, because this is business as usual for her, and that perfectly captures the part of herself that she hates, the part of herself that the rest of this journey will challenge. Shirase's introduction is even better. We are introduced to her violently kicking the door on the bathroom stall and crying about the $1,000,000 she lost. This intense outburst sets a serious emotional tone for the scene, a tone that is immediately undercut when she comically freaks out and slams into the wall behind her. What I love about this moment is that it immediately invalidates the cold exterior she uses as a social defense. People generally don't reveal their true selves to random strangers, but this introduction gives us the character first and the facade second. This is important because Shirase is a reserved, aggressive person who would otherwise hide her nuanced personality. After all, what did she gain from honesty in the past? When her classmates learned of her desire to go to Antarctica, they mocked her. Prior to Kimari, no one had taken Shirase seriously, so she cut everyone off. Yet in this scene, she gets caught off guard and reacts accordingly. I know if it were me in a similar scenario, I'd probably jump out of my shoes. Between this and the following scene, which reveals how and why she had the $1,000,000 in the first place, we see how passionate she is about this Antarctica trip, how committed she is to achieving that goal, and how underneath all of that determination is an adorable dork. Her drastic mood swings here were indicative not just of the quality of her character, but of the quality of this show's writing. Alright, forget the usual format. I loved A Place Further Than the Universe. I was awed by its art style and soundtrack, inspired by its themes of friendship and adventure, reduced to a sobbing mess by its story and characters. I could talk about any one of these elements at length, but maybe that's why I haven't been able to talk about this show at all. There's so much I could say, so much that has already been said. Where do I begin? What if I miss something? What if I just end up repeating things? Will anyone even care about my thoughts? Are there other projects I could be working on this video? Insecurity and indecision. I hate these things. They plague my daily life like a virus. Inescapable. Unending. Of course I don't want to fail. No one does. But if I always balk at the notion of failure, I'll never change. I'll never improve. I'll never move forward. Let's get the YouTube parallel out of the way. Shirase spends her time outside of school working part-time to earn money for her Antarctica trip instead of hanging out with friends that she didn't even really try to make. Most of my time outside of high school was spent either working part-time or making YouTube videos. I didn't start hanging out with friends regularly until about halfway through my junior year. so I missed out on arguably the best chance I would have had to interact with other people. I wouldn't say that I regret how I spent my time, though, because the money I had initially been saving for college tuition is now allowing me to pursue YouTube in the way that I am. Dropping out of college and quitting my job to try to become a full-time YouTuber is without a doubt the riskiest decision I've made in my life. Some, if not most of you, would probably call it stupid. And believe me, I understand where you're coming from. Throw me an argument, I've already gone over it in my head time and time again. I relate to Kimari in that I'm also afraid of taking risks and failing. But even more than that, I hate the part of me that shuts these things down before I even attempt them. I had the chance to take a different risk a few years ago, and I didn't. I still regret that. So while I'm afraid of taking a risk on YouTube, I'm even more afraid of not taking this risk and regretting it for the rest of my life. But a place further than the universe isn't all about the negatives. It's about doing what you want regardless of what other people think. It's about pursuing your dreams in your youth because you can. It's about taking risks, making supposedly stupid decisions, and that not being a bad thing. Because if you bust your ass and go all in on it, you won't walk away empty-handed. Maybe you'll get exactly what you wanted, maybe you won't. But as long as you commit, you'll gain something out of the experience. As for me, there are a lot of things I want to do. I want to become a better writer, a better editor. I want to become more confident in myself, in what I have to say. And that's why, no matter how many times I nearly gave up on this video, I still finished it. Is it my best work? No. Was this how I expected the video to go when I started writing it? No. Could I have done better? Probably. But I'll get there. The adventure doesn't stop until I give up, and I'm not about to do that. If I want to become a better person, I need to take risks. I'm opening myself up to scrutiny by posting this video. That's a risk. I'm going to Anime Expo in July, which will involve taking a flight for the first time, going to California for the first time, attending a convention for the first time. That's a risk. I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone. I'm pushing myself to improve. I'm moving forward, one step at a time.